At the wrap party, the Alistair and the rising star made their relationship official. He stood before me, smiling. Elena, stop making a scene, she's new to the industry, innocent by nature. You can't pick on her. I can't bear to let her go through the same gossip we did back then. She deserves a public acknowledgement. After a brief, suffocating shock, clarity hit. If that's how it is, I don't want him anymore. I fished out my vibrating phone from my bag. A message from my cousin popped up. The guy I set you up with for the arranged marriage is waiting in the parking lot. This says he doesn't mind if you still have someone else in your heart. Before the wrap party, we'd been tangled in each other's arms. Gabriel nipped at my ear. His expression was obsessed and fanatical. He'd always been obsessed with my body, today even more so by the end. My legs felt weak. He sat on the edge of the bed, savoring a cigarette, smoke curling around his lazy, indifferent eyes. Go home. I thought it was like before, him rushing me out to avoid prying eyes. I never stayed overnight. But then he added, I mean, don't ever come back. I froze, turning to look at him in confusion. Gabriel had those flirtatious, almond-shaped eyes. Now they crinkled with a smile that sent chills down my spine. I could guess why. It was Leela, the actress he'd starred with in his last drama. Rumors had swirled even before filming Wrap that Gabriel doted on her. I knew then she was different. Gabriel was naturally cold, distant to everyone except me. He'd shown me rare warmth and tenderness. I'd never seen him fuss over a rookie like this. She was my opposite, debuting. I'd been called the industry's red rose, passionate, radiant, alluring. Leela, though, was hailed as the white moonlight. Her looks weren't standout, but her eyes held a pure, sparkling innocence. I first met her when I visited Gabriel on set. She and Gabriel were filming a chase scene. I watched the whole thing. At first, Leela was awkward, shy. But Gabriel was skilled. Under his lead, she melted into it. They kissed so deeply. They didn't hear the director yell cut. When it ended, Leela panted against Gabriel's chest. He smirked, patting her back in that doting, helpless way he had. 20-year-old Elena would have thrown a fit, but 28-year-old Elena knew better. I called. Too many eyes watched us. A scene would ruin both our careers. Smoke stunned my eyes, jolting me from the memory. I dressed, meeting his gaze. The hickey I'd bitten into his neck still marked him. You won't cause trouble, right? You understand with our status. A clean break is best. No, there was no point. The second I saw Leela's timid, fairy-like eyes, I knew my entanglement with Gabriel was ending. Pleased with my compliance, his tone softened. He got out of bed, barefoot, pulling me into a hug, his head resting on my shoulder. Just like he'd done 100 times. You're so sensible. Honestly, I'll miss you. But Leela minds your existence. We should keep contact to a minimum. His embrace tightened, but his words cut colder. 8 years of love and hate had eroded all the beauty of our first meeting. I couldn't tell if I still loved him or just resented 8 years without a public acknowledgement. His endless single act, his willingness to discard me for someone he'd known 6 months. I pushed him away, staring at his cigarette. Then I snatched it, pressing the burning tip to his thigh before he could react. He winced, teeth gritted, but refused to flinch. Enduring the searing pain. Years in this industry had blunted my edges. Made Gabriel think I'd just take it. I met his gaze. Keep contact to a minimum. Not unless you quit the industry. We'll cross paths. I dropped the cigarette into the trash, slowly, my eyes stun. But pride kept tears at bay. I wouldn't cry in front of a cheek. And a rumbled outside. Gabriel's phone rang. It was Leela. He glanced at me, relieved I didn't react, and answered in front of me. What's wrong, baby? I'm scared of the thunder. Leela's voice trembled, tearful. Don't be. I'm coming. He grabbed his keys, pausing at the door. Leave quickly. Don't let reporters catch you. I nodded. After he left, I erased every trace of myself from the villa. By then, it was dark. I checked my phone. A group chat was blowing up. Gabriel's friends. They'd seen paparazzi photos, Gabriel and Leela walking close, even kissing. Headlines blared. Bombshell, Alistair and newcomer rumored to be dating. Old flame or new love. I'd begged to join this group. They'd always been warm, calling me sister-in-law. Though now messages flew. Sis, it's just a misunderstanding. Gabriel wouldn't betray you. Must be the angle makes them look closer than they are. That Leela's playing. No match for you, sis. Then Gabriel chimed in, tagging me. Elena, stop being a bitch. The group fell deathly silent. He added Leela, introducing her, "This is your real sister-in-law." Don't mix them up, crickets. I didn't see his second tag until later. Meg said nothing, but he unleashed his anger. "Elena, what's the point of this obsession?" I made myself clear. "Have some dignity." Leela sent a sobbing emoji. Typing in a muffled tone, "Hi everyone. I'm Gabriel's girlfriend, his only girlfriend." She emphasized only. I was breathless from cleaning, but I wouldn't back down. I tagged Gabriel. "Who do you think you are, judging me? Obsessed? Dream on." They called me sister-in-law for years. Old habits die hard. Who knew you'd cheat? Good for you too. Scum belongs with scum. Lock yourselves up. Leela went silent. A minute later, one of Gabriel's closest friends spoke up. "So Gabriel, it's not a rumor? You cheated?" "Not cheating, Elena and I broke up." He ignored my messages. Replying to that, I wasn't done. "Funny, this morning we were together. Tonight he's moved on." Seconds later, the group was disbanded. Typical. He couldn't bear Leela finding out. The next day, at the wrap party, Gabriel held Leela's hand before reporters, announcing their relationship. The crowd erupted. I ducked my head, hat pulled low. Blending in under the spotlights, their hands stayed clasped. He glanced at her often. That look I knew so well, the warmth and possessiveness he'd only shown me during their intimate moments. Now it burned for Leela, hot enough to melt ice. "Thank you for our love, barring surprises. We'll marry early next year." His voice boomed through the neck. Gasps, flashbulbs, chaos. Leela tilted her head up at him. Eyes red, adoration shining. He was going to marry her. 8 years with me. And he'd never mentioned marriage, not even in our passionate love. They'd known each other 6 months. I pulled my hat lower, slipping out. "It's not fair," I whispered. My phone buzzed. Gabriel Leela announced relationship was trending. First the photo, them embracing tightly so he could go public. Just not for me. He knew rumors hurt, yet let his fans attack me, call me a gold digger. 8 years, we climbed to the top only to lose each other at the peak. Wind whipped grit against my face in the parking lot. I touched my cheek, tears, but Alistair. Elena had pride. I scanned for reporters, wiped my face, and got in the car. More messages. "My cousin Oliver wants to enter the industry. He wants to sign you. Think about it." Oliver. The arranged marriage diary. Deep and close as kids, until something drove me to run away, build a life in Shanghai. 8 years, I'd avoided him. No more hiding, I replied. "Okay, I'll sign." My contract was with Gabriel's studio. My pay was laughably low for my status. But I'd let it slide. Always thought we'd marry now. Staying made no sense. The contract expired soon. In the final months, no new roles came. My variety shows were cancelled, replaced by Leela, someone with nowhere near my clout. No doubt. I received a message from Gabriel 2 days before the end. "You've learned your lesson. Cross Leela again, and I'll ruin you." Ruin me? Memories hit early in our relationship. My company pressured me into drinking with clients drugged. On the verge of assault, Gabriel burst in. He took a beating, bloodied, but shielded me as he blacked out. He held me, crying. "Don't be scared. I'll never let anyone hurt you again." Now, the man who once swore to protect me can easily say, "I'll ruin you." I didn't reply to his message. Instead, I contacted Oliver. "I'm free these days. We can set a time to meet and talk about the contract." "Sure." He replied instantly. Just as I was about to turn off my phone, another notification popped up. It was from my agent, Cecilia. "Elena, are you ready to renew your contract?" "Cecilia, I'm not going to renew it." "Huh? Does Gabriel know about this?" "Yes, he does." Cecilia didn't think much more about it. After all, Gabriel and Leela had already made their relationship official. My departure as his ex would be for the best for everyone, she thought. And Gabriel must surely agree. Still, there was a tinge of regret in her voice. Sigh. "How did things come to this between you two?" "Because people's hearts are fickle." 2 days later, I met Oliver at a CIF. It had been a long time since we'd seen each other, and he no longer had the childish innocence of years past. Now, he carried himself like someone in power. Sharply dressed in a suit, with a low-key Patek Philippe on his wrist, the kind Gabriel once mocked as old-fashioned and stodgy. "Are you doing okay lately?" I spoke first. Oliver stared at me, a little startled, then smiled. He didn't answer my question but placed a document in front of me. "Take a look if you have no objections." We can sign it. I glanced down. It was the contract to sign me. I couldn't help but feel a little amused. This guy was still as taciturn as ever, like a monk who'd renounced all desires yet. This was the same person whose phone was filled with secretly taken photos of me playing the piano. I read the contract carefully and noticed that the offer was significantly higher than the market rate. This price is a bit high, I pointed out. He said softly, a faint smile playing on his lips. I felt a sudden daze looking at Oliver's face. I murmured in a barely audible voice, Oliver, do you believe in substitute love? He acted as if he hadn't heard, continuing to sip his coffee. After finishing our coffee, I planned to head home. But as I drew closer, I caught the smell of alcohol and Oliver from a distance. Earlier, I caught a faint whiff and thought it was my imagination. Oliver never used to drink. Have you been drinking? Yeah, I'm happy. Oliver looked up at me, his eyes burning with a fiery, intense heat, as if he were trying to etch me into his memory. I said nothing, just silently took him to the hotel. Oliver seemed even more drunk, barely able to stand without leaning on me. But then, a forceful push sent Oliver stumbling backward. I turned around to find Gabriel glaring at me, his face contorted with rage. Are you that desperate? You just broke up with me and you're already rushing to sleep with another man. Don't forget, you're still signed to me. If you land yourself in trouble, it'll drag me down too. I quickly helped Oliver steady himself, then turned to Gabriel. My gaze cold. Don't worry, Gabriel, I'm no longer your artist. Gabriel suddenly laughed, a sneer curling his lips, as if he'd seen right through me. Stop pretending. You think I don't know you? You think finding another man to provoke me will make me come back to you? Dream on. At that moment, Leila, who'd been standing behind Gabriel, stepped forward, looking innocent and flustered. Her eyes were always moist, as if she'd just been crying. Elena, please don't be angry. Gabriel didn't mean to say those harsh things. He just cares too much about the studio's reputation, she said. Gently tugging at Gabriel's sleeve as if soothing a feral beast. Gabriel finally calmed down, snorting and turning his head away from me. Leila looked at me again, her eyes full of grievance and innocence. Elena, I know you still have feelings for Gabriel, but we're together now. Please just wish us well and stop coveting him. I'm just a new artist, I can't compete with you, but I hope you'll let us be. Her soft voice made my blood boil with embarrassment. I let out a cold laugh, staring directly into Leila's eyes. Entanglement, save your lies. I wouldn't want a cheating scumbag like him. If you like him, he's all yours. Leila was left speechless, her face turning red and then white the next second. She burst into tears and ran off, covering her face. Gabriel frowned at me but didn't chase after her immediately. Instead, he looked at me with a complicated expression I couldn't read. It's unnecessary, Elena, if you don't mind. We can still be friends. I'll still take care of you, like before. Oliver had been leaning quietly against me, but in the shadows, his eyes were eerily clear. Gabriel. Elena is my signed artist now. I'll take care of her, so you don't have to worry. Oliver suddenly spoke up. You? Never heard of you, some nobody. Who do you think you are to say that? Gabriel scoffed, then turned to me, his eyes swirling with emotions I couldn't decipher. Elena. Don't be petty and sign with some random small company just to spite me. Remember, all your resources came from me, is that so? I cut him off, my gaze icy. You were so poor you lived in a basement. You got on the wrong side of people because of your stubbornness and got fired by your agent. I pulled you back up, recommended you to a director in the industry. Later, we supported each other, encouraged each other once. You used our rumors to get ahead, and I rode your later fame to get noticed. It was just a mutually beneficial arrangement. I shattered his self-righteous illusions. The air in the hotel turned suddenly frigid. Gabriel's face paled under the lights. Oliver seemed to grow more drunk, resting his head on my shoulder. I caught at his arm. Gabriel, as you can see, we're busy. Gabriel's eyes fixed on Oliver's hand resting on me, and he suddenly laughed. Tail F, that was almost obsessive and menacing. Fine. Elena, you are really something. With that, he turned and left, his shoes clicking sharply against the floor, as if he were fleeing something, disheveled and flustered. A week later, a trending topic exploded online. Top star's ex-girlfriend spotted in late-night rendezvous with mysterious man, suspected sugar daddy relationship. The photo showed a blurry image of me helping Oliver into the hotel. Looking at the headline, I felt a surge of irritation running into Gabriel. Really was bad luck. Online comments flooded in. Is the ex finally going to announce her new relationship? She clung to our Gabriel for years, and now that he's official, she's having a breakdown. Who's the guy she went into the hotel with? I originally wanted to ignore the baseless rumors. Over the years I'd grown used to it. There were always people misunderstanding me, flinging accusations my way, but back then, Gabriel had said that even Hig followers were followers, telling me not to pay attention to the gossip. However, knowing this involved Oliver, I decided to clarify. I released a statement confirming that I'd signed with Oliver's company and that the meeting that day was just a routine work discussion. I also included the hotel surveillance footage, which showed me leaving Oliver's room within 5 minutes of helping him in. Clearly, nothing had happened after the clarification. Public opinion calmed somewhat, but many of Gabriel's fans still hurled insults at me online. Strangely enough, they didn't seem to hate Leela. As Cecilia put it, Leela had an innocent, harmless face that won over audiences, while I looked like a seductress who couldn't win over female fans. When Oliver saw the trending topic, he contacted me right away. I'll handle this. I already clarified it. It's not enough someone is clearly manipulating this behind the scenes. I won't let you be wronged. I wanted to refuse, not wanting to trouble him, but his tone was firm. And I couldn't say no. That night, I saw Gabriel waiting downstairs at my apartment. He was wrapped up tightly to avoid being recognized. But I spotted him immediately. What are you doing here? I asked, annoyed. Gabriel's eyes crinkled with a smile. Still so fiery-tempered? No one else would put up with you but me. I rolled my eyes. Gabriel went on, come back and renew your contract. I'll handle this mess. They won't hurl insults at you anymore. Oh? After taking all those abuses for years, now you suddenly want to help me? I said, my voice dripping with sarcasm. Gabriel looked uncomfortable. Avoiding my gaze, he cleared his throat. You don't have to keep bringing up the past. Even though I've decided to end things with you, we still have history. I won't just abandon you. I laughed, almost crying. Did he really think he was some great romantic? Was he even capable of moving himself? If you help me, won't your little girlfriend get upset? I asked, my tone mocking. No, she won't. I just need to explain, and she'll understand. Don't be so biased against her. She's a good person. Is she? What if she staged this whole incident? Impossible. Gabriel's voice rose sharply. I said no more, just turned and walked away. Gabriel called after me. Elena, stop seeing that man. None of your business. I snapped, stopping in my tracks. Gabriel was getting more and more annoying by the day. He froze, staring at me in disbelief. The next day, Montgomery Group released an announcement. I was their first signed artist, and they would develop a series of tailored resources for me. The internet erupted. Montgomery? Oh my God. Is Montgomery entering the entertainment industry? Why, Elena, does she have some incredible background we don't know about? People were suddenly fascinated by my origins. Then Hawthorne's official website reposted Montgomery's announcement with the comment, pleasure doing business. That cleared things up. I was the heir to Hawthorne. Montgomery was a world-renowned corporation. But Hawthorne was no slouch either, with unparalleled connections in the business world and numerous listed companies under its umbrella. The two families had been close for years. If I hadn't run away, Oliver and I might already be married on the other side. Gabriel finally had to believe I wasn't renewing my contract. Cecilia, acting as my spy, gave me a play-by-play. You wouldn't believe it. Gabriel lost his temper so bad he almost smashed the desk, she said, sending me a secretly filmed video. In it, Gabriel was frozen, asking his assistant over and over, she really didn't renew. Is she really that cruel, trying to cut all ties with me? She actually signed with another company? She asked the Hawthorne heir. How? She said she came from an ordinary family. Gabriel nearly dropped his coffee cup, his face ashen. Just then, Leela walked in with a fruit platter. Seeing Gabriel's state, she pouted, looking aggrieved. Gabriel, what's wrong? If she wants to leave, let her go. It'd be awkward to keep her around anyway. Gabriel didn't reply, just staring blankly at his phone. Leela followed his gaze and saw his chat interface with me. He'd sent countless messages, none of which I'd replied to in that moment. Leela's face contorted almost imperceptibly with that, but Gabriel acted as if he hadn't heard, his world reduced to a gray void. Leela sighed. Gabriel, I know you're loyal and kind. It hurts that she left without a word. I get it. Her eyes brimmed with concern, warm and forgiving at last. Gabriel reacted. He turned to her, his gaze clouded with confusion and conflict. Leave me. I need to be alone. His voice was soft. Leela nodded silently, lingering before stepping out. Once everyone was gone, Gabriel sank into the couch and closed his eyes. 2 days later, Oliver told me they'd found who was behind it all. I'd already guessed. No surprise, it was Leela. She was never the innocent thing Gabriel claimed. From the first meeting, I'd sensed there was more to her. She was a mirror of my younger self, and tainted by the industry's grime. Mimicking my old makeup, style, mannerisms, even hobbies. I'd known Gabriel would fall. Trading me for her was inevitable. She was the triumphant stand-in, the new favorite. I was just the forgotten past. What do you want to do? Oliver asked. Go public. I said. Let the truth flood the light. Half an hour later, one trending topic after erupted. Leela the homewrecker. Gabriel moves on to fast. Leela frames Elena Chu. Leela the internet imploded. Weibo crashed, only restored after an all-night fix. Netizens scrambled for every detail. Soon, Leela's collaborators dropped her one by one. Chaos reigned. I could picture her panicked. Sure enough, her call came. Why destroy me completely? Her voice was shrill. I held the phone. Away, you brought this on yourself. Leela snapped. Then I'm replacing her usual fragility. You rage just bitter. Gabriel chose me. You're using your power to bully me. Suit yourself. My indifference clearly irked her. Her breathing turned ragged in the background. I heard Cecilia's frantic voice. It's over, Leela. All your shows are pulled. They ray replacing you in the long moon too. After I left, Cecilia had been assigned as Leela's manager. Gabriel had publicly vowed to mold Leela into another me. They can't. I'll tell Gabriel. How fix this. He can't. His studio dropped you too. That's a lie. He loves me. He wouldn't. I hung up. Gabriel was helpless anyway. The cheating scandal had tanked his reputation. Fans turned on him. Gabriel cheats trended first. Even last year's brand deals issued apologies and severed ties. He kept calling. I never answered. I stood in Montgomery Group's private elevator. My new blonde waves catching the light when the doors opened. Oliver waited. We smiled. I'd liked him once, back when crushes felt simple. Then I discovered his secret. For years, while my parents were abroad and I stayed with the Montgomerys, he'd sneak into my room each night, just watching me, hoarding my discarded trinkets. His obsession terrified the naive girl I was. I fled, and somehow fell for Gabriel, who shared Oliver's eyes. A cruel twist of fate. Oliver's gaze still burned intense as ever. You came back. I looked away. You sent Leela into the industry, didn't you? I did. But I couldn't make Gabriel cheat. I sighed. This scares me. It always had. His willingness to cross lines to get what he wanted. Oliver's head dropped, his voice rawed. Fear me. You think I'm worthless? In 8 years apart, I did one thing, watched you love him and went crazy with it. But I never touched him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have lasted this long. My phone vibrated. Another message from Cecilia, this time a video. Gabriel squatted at his villa's doorway, gazed, a cigarette burning down to his knuckles. He still wore the tie I'd given him 3 birthdays ago. Elena. Oliver took my hand, pleading. Come to the old house tomorrow? My parents miss you. I smiled. Okay. The Montgomerys greeted me warmly, just like old times. Grandma Montgomery clutched my hand. Weeping. You ray home. Thank God. My parents flew in too. I wasn't their only child. I knew they each had other families. I'd always been just a pawn for their alliance. When I ran, they'd cut off my funds, ashamed, rarely reaching out. Now their eyes were red. You're too thin. Did you neglect yourself? My mother said. I thought you'd never want to see us again. Had I resented them? Once. Now, I just felt nothing. I managed a polite smile. You ray my parents. Of course I'd see you. The words hung stiff and distant. Regret flickered across their faces. Too late. Some rifts never heal. Oliver sensed my discomfort. He stepped between us, just like he had years ago when I'd sobbed upon learning of my parents' other lives. And this scrawny boy had shielded me from whispers. His preteen voice clear and fierce. You're terrible parents. You never cared, left her with nannies. You don't deserve her, but I do, now at 30. Oliver carried the authority of a man in power. Please don't cry, it upset Selena. The memory overlapped with the present. My heart skipped, something unfurled, quiet and new after a few days at the Montgomery estate. I left on the drive to the office. I spotted Gabriel squatting by the roadside. His eyes were bloodshot. Aching as he stared at me, he lurched to his feet, swaying before steadying himself. Elena. Do you hate me that much? His voice was hoarse, more plea than accusation. He started forward. But my glare stopped him. Stay away, Dove. I don't need rumors with a disgraced star. Gabriel paled, staggering back to lean against a wall. Am I beyond forgiveness? You did this. I didn't want it to escalate. But your little girlfriend kept pushing. At the mention of Leela, his face twisted. She lied. I didn't know she'd hire trolls to attack you. Serves you right. I turned to leave. He moved to block me. Aker pulled up. Oliver stepped out. His stare turned icy at the sight of Gabriel. Mr. Gabriel, Elena is my fiancée. Keep best to her again, and you'll never work in this industry. Gabriel's jaw tightened, jealousy and bitterness in his eyes. He hadn't known who Oliver was, dismissing him as some pretty boy. Until Montgomery Group spoke up. Now regret is from him. Elena loved me for 8 years. She didn't ever marry you. Love you? A cheater? Ever look in a mirror? I shot back. Oliver chuckled, glancing at me approvingly. Gabriel's shoulders slumped. All fight gone. Oliver took my hand and led me to the car. Through the window, I watched Gabriel stand frozen, his gaze agonized as we drove off. Shrinking in the distance. Don't let him upset you, Oliver said softly. I'm here now. No one will hurt you again. I nodded. These days with him, the fear had faded. He was steady, restrained, devoted, impossible not to notice. I'd spent years running from my feelings for him, scared of his intensity, rebelling against our family's plans, but Oliver had only ever been my excuse to resist. Deep down, there was always a flicker of attachment. Thank you for waiting, I murmured. You'll never have to thank me. I'd do anything for you. Gabriel didn't give up. He posted online, claiming Leela had tricked him, sharing her floaty messages to prove it. It only made Leela more reviled and him more of a laughingstock, the idiot who got played. He didn't care. He camped outside my building, his haggard figure a daily sight, spurring more trending topic drama. He sent gifts, things I'd mentioned years ago, forgotten by him then, with rambling apology notes. None moved me. It took Oliver shutting down his studio to make him stop. Oliver connected me with a top director. I nailed the audition and joined the cast. On opening day, Leela's tagged post blew up. She was already half out of the industry, universally hated. Kneeling on camera, she sobbed her confession, hiring paparazzi, sabotaging me, stealing Gabriel. Elena. I just hated it. Why am I just a maid's daughter? Well, you're untouchable. She wailed. Please tell Montgomery and Hawthorne to stop. That's when it clicked. She was Luna's daughter. Luna, our family's maid. She'd spent years at Hawthorne Manor with her mother, studying. Main assistant handed me a thermos. A note was taped to it. Oliver's bold handwriting. No ice drinks you ray off today. I smiled. Across the crowd, I spotted Gabriel, hat low, mask up. His eyes locked onto mine, longing and unreachable, like a dream. The director clapped the slate. Action. I lifted my chin, smiling, and didn't look back. This time, I wasn't someone's red rose. I was my own sunflower, brightened and yielding. That night, Oliver picked me up. Cherry blossoms swirled in the breeze. I tiptoed and kissed his cheek. After filming, let's chase the northern lights. He froze, his face flushing. Just like the boy who'd watched me from the dark, so many years ago. This time, I wouldn't run. Wouldn't he settle? After 8 years of wrong turns, I'd finally found my way home.